time to continue our Hack the NAB journey, and I could not be more excited to do this with one of my favorite companies, LiveU. Is Claudia here?
I'm here.
How's it going?
Good. How are you hanging in there? I saw you at 9 o'clock this morning.
Oh my
Can't believe you're
gosh.
still going strong.
They got the hacker hoodie off. We are having a lot of fun. I enjoy this because I get a little cooped up working from home all the time. And we had Andrew Cross on. We've done some new product releases. It's been really exciting. And now we get to catch up with you about LiveU because you guys had a lot planned for NAB. I don't want to spill the beans, but I heard about a booth that was going to be pretty incredible. Why don't you tell us what we're missing out on?
Wow. It is a bummer. We were going to have a basketball court on our booth this year, believe it or not. Oh, I should have grabbed one of the basketballs. I have one here. Yeah, we were going to really try to use our booth, not just to showcase technology, but also to use our technology. So we were going to have our usual live studio, but be producing it with some cool features like your cameras too from PTZOptics, but showing how you can really broadcast from all angles and do it all remotely. So unfortunately, we couldn't do that, but we have taken all that gear and half of it's here in my living room. And then the other half is in our producer James' tiny apartment where he's producing all of our live content that we're launching this week as well. So we're our own test case and we're practicing what we preach here at LiveU for sure.
Well, it's so good to hear, and I would love to ponder with you a little bit about the new normal, because
Mm.
I think that a lot of people are excited about what happened. At the beginning it was a shock, and we're forced to work from home. Video communications became a necessity. Live streaming
Yep.
became the only way to get a lot of this, together. We did a show together about covering the COVID-19 pandemic. Can you
Yeah.
brief us on that really quickly, just to set the stage?
Yeah, it's almost like NAB is a non-event, not just because it's not happening, but because so much has been going on in the world around us for both breaking news coverage, but also all of the government agencies around the globe, the health agencies that have needed to stay connected with their communities, and the amount of work that we've been doing behind the scenes with a lot of our customers, as well as new people new to live streaming. I know we've done many episodes talking to industries like education or worship about how they can leverage live streaming. Well, it became a necessity in the last month and a half, uh, not just to get the word out, but just to really keep the community together and going. And you're right, there is something very exciting about it. It goes from trying to teach people how they can leverage technology like this to actually teaching people how to use it very quickly for a very important reason. Um, Even the upcoming graduation, commencement ceremonies and activities, uh, people are at a loss for how to give these poor graduates their due and be able to reach the friends and family that it's important to. And live broadcasting, live streaming, how to do it well, how to engage with the viewers has all become this like instant spotlight. It's quite interesting, and that's been the majority of what our time has been spent doing as a company, including very figuring out ways to make that really really easy, or I should say easier, whether it's using our technology or even integrating with other cloud production opportunities out there, other partners, other ways to deliver that message online and in real time.
So you shared with us some photos. I'd love to just quickly go
Oh
over,
yeah.
because it was just so incredible. We already did a show on this. You guys can follow it on Stream Geeks, but just some of the pictures of folks using LiveU gear to deliver the news is just shocking. This is in Italy, I think.
It's so all over the globe. I think that one is in Italy. Yeah. It's look, it's for the safety of these multimedia journalists out there. You can't be sending whole crews on site, but you need to be able to get the news where it is. It's also, when you look at what some of the government agencies are doing, they're doing daily, if not multiple daily press conferences. In the past, every news network would send a reporter on site and a camera operator. Now they have to be the ones to film it and then transmit it to local news networks as well as national news networks. And that's all being done over IP. And we've had to set up these, what they call local loops and national loops, so that for the safety of everyone, but also for the urgency and immediacy of this news and information, it was able to be distributed to a wide audience without risking exposure. In a way, journalists have been used to that by covering hurricanes and natural disasters and major political events and wars. And this crisis is no different, because their lives are on the line. So being able to remotely share that content safely has been paramount during this whole time frame.
Yeah, and I even see, it's so incredible to see a company like you guys who are equipping not just the highest end producers here, but coming to another slide where we have a musician, and it looks like it looks some type of music club, because everybody really needs to get their message out, and
Right.
just business continuity. Just how can we do business when we can't have people coming to our places of business? Tell me a little bit about some of the
Yeah.
hacks and streaming things that you're seeing going on out there.
So even for ourselves, I'm produce our live content as well. The ability to bring in a remote guest, whether it's a musician, so people can play together, or contributor on a program, or if you're doing a business meeting, being able to pull those people in remotely and still have the quality and connectivity has been a little tricky. I'm sure we've all been leveraging Zoom and some other web-based tools, and working from home, where our children are hopefully doing schoolwork but are probably playing video games and streaming movies. That home internet connection can get a little congested. So one of the things that we've seen a tremendous increase in fact 175% increase in, is the usage of our bonding app, which is called the Smart App. And what that and actually I'm streaming right now too, using it to sort of redistribute and share this content. Um, the issue was, traditionally that was used by broadcasters. So they would equip their teams, even their ad salespeople. So if there was a breaking news event, they could pull that feed into the broadcast television coverage. Well, that app is now being used for every industry, for every opportunity. And we had to quickly make that super easy for, let's say, the non-technical person, so that now remotely, whoever is producing it can simply send that guest a link, either SMS or email, and they can click on it from their smartphone, and they don't have to set anything, all remotely. The resolution, how long that link would be live for, even if it's just for the hour, or we want to leave it live for a month, the lighting, the remote camera controls, that can all be stopped and started now. All I have to do as a contributor is click a link and hopefully have something good to say, um, and just leveraging my phone, but not relying upon just the cellular connection or just the Wi-Fi. Being able to bond both together, make sure that that connection will look good, because again, whether it's something entertaining just to keep people's morales up, or if it's really important critical news, you can't risk having that stream get broken.
Wow.
So that has been a very rewarding experience, and it's fun. There are a lot of entertainment companies, a lot of evening shows that we all know of, that have some interesting personalities. Even Dr. Oz is using it. It's a way to keep life as we know it going, albeit a little bit differently. And entertainment shouldn't be ignored. It's a very important aspect of what we're all going through. So being able to leverage something everybody's got, a smartphone, versus, I don't know if you guys can see it behind me. I've got equipment all around me in this tiny little space in my living room that I carved out. Not everybody has access to high-end cameras, mics, lights, but everyone pretty much has a smartphone. And with that and cellular and Wi-Fi, now anyone can truly be a broadcaster. And that's been really rewarding.
Yeah, and that's an incredible. So glad you guys are doing that, because it's this necessity right now, and everyone is trying to hack together a solution. And with what you guys have, you don't even have to hack it together. There's an app that's going to help you guys get online and live stream in a professional way, which I think is awesome.
Right. But I love what people are doing. I mean, again, James, who might be watching this right now, he's my producer with all the return video servers and everything in his, and this switcher and sound in his tiny little apartment. We also had to figure out workarounds. You know, we had all this equipment already packed up in our warehouse, ready to go to NAB. When the word came that we had to shut down our office and move remotely, we kind of grabbed whatever we could and we've cobbled this together. But one of the really fantastic things that's been out there that maybe people hadn't been exposed to, they go, oh, we need this major production setup. But there's so many cloud-based options out there for switching, for graphics, even for audio, you name it. And we're now forced to, out of necessity, really try to start playing with these things in order to just get the broadcast out, but also to maybe elevate it a little bit, and continue making things really engaging and exciting. And I think that trend, that ability to produce everything both remotely and leveraging cloud or IP-based technology. I think you were actually saying it earlier in your previous interview, which I listened into a little bit, which was very inspiring. The landscape of how we produce content and share it will forever be changed. And I think everyone's finally realizing that even you too can do it. You don't need to be a major broadcaster. You know, sitting behind me is our major broadcast equipment, but also is the more end user equipment that anybody can afford and use, and be able to get what the major broadcasters get. And I think the cloud-based technologies have been a democratization of how you can produce. I mean, look at what you're doing even here with this show. It's incredible.
I know, and I've always loved using the existing LiveU products, or the ones that I'm familiar with. The LiveU Solo and the LU600 will stream from our production studio, which is just using a wirecast software type encoder. vmix, XSplit, OBS, all of them can really pull together a professional production. But then we'll cut to a mobile backpack, and we use the cloud to do that. We use Easy Live, and I know there's other cloud-based solutions, but it really blows people's minds when they say, how did you just cut to a remote reporter in your local area? How did you just walk out of your studio, get into a car, drive 15 miles down the road, come back, and then go back into your studio? And we're the stream geeks here, always trying new things. We understand how this works. I've had 300 to 500% increases on our YouTube videos of how-tos, just because there's that many new people going, I want to do this kind of stuff as well. You can see Michael here producing the show. He's got vmix on one side, Zoom on the other, and I'm just standing here with my laptop trying to keep pace. It's really it's crazy times.
But it's not just that either. I think what's phenomenal is the reach. We did a program about virtual conferences, and that was always looked at as an additional revenue stream or an additional way to pull in people who wouldn't travel to a conference. But now you look at churches that are using live streaming technology, and they're not only reaching their core congregation. We have a customer of ours, Take One Productions, out of Anaheim, California, and I talked to him last week. He helped a very local church produce their live stream, and they had 20,000 viewers on the Facebook stream, and the simulcast, they had another 20,000 viewers on YouTube, which means that message, that reach went far beyond their normal congregation, their normal exposure. And to me, that's so rewarding and exciting to see that, yes, figure it out. And now you can go beyond what you ever thought, because we are all online now. That's how we're getting our information. It's how we're connecting with each other. It's how we're engaging with each other. And this unfortunate circumstance is now transforming how we can reach so many other people with our message and our content.
So I wanted to ask, so we did kind of talk, I jumbled up the questions here. So the first
Okay.
question was, what are you releasing at NAB? And I feel like we need to kind of go back on that. So what was the big announcements that was coming from LiveU for NAB?
So we didn't make it, and we're not making it. No,
Oh,
in reality, when we look at what we were launching, it didn't make sense right now for us. So we actually have pushed it off. And the reason being is everything we're talking about now, which was right now we're in a situation where our focus needs to be on helping teach and educate many different types of organizations how to go live. And that includes helping and supporting our core broadcast customers with their crisis plans. Many of them were locked out of their facilities and buildings. They had to create remote studios, redundant locations. And our job really was to focus, and still is to focus on, how can we make improvements to make it easier? How can we help them produce and distribute content over IP? And we really made a conscious decision as a company to say, the new products will be there when hopefully we get back to the world that we all once knew. And we're going to concerts, and we're going to sporting events, and we're covering happier, more engaging activities, and really focus our efforts, rather than on making a new product announcement, taking what we have today and making it more approachable by many different segments, and making it more affordable, making it more accessible, and really supporting our communities, and getting the word out. So it's okay that you flubbed that question, because like I said, we made a conscious decision to say, let's take care of the business at hand. Let's get through this together. And then there'll be a time to talk about fun new products that take advantage of things like 5G, or make remote production and producing a remote event like a cool concert or sporting event with multiple camera angles easier to do and more affordable to do. There'll be time for that.
well, I couldn't agree more. And, we've all kind of been trained to wait for these specific dates, and everyone's got them on their calendars. But, I'm more of a fan of the trickle effect as opposed to the waterfall, because the waterfall can sometimes, drown you with stuff that's not even ready.
Yeah.
And it's better to just trickle it out when it's ready, and spend time on what's important.
In a way, I feel like we've hacked NAB that way. Our booth can be really, really busy, and it can be really intimidating for people who've spent a lot of money to go and attend these conferences in person, to walk onto a booth that's got a ton of people and equipment that you're not really sure what it is. And I know what it's like going to someone else's booth going, can you tell me what that is? I don't know. And I look at it as, when the time is right, we'll be able to now reach out, maybe do things virtually, so that
Mhm.
people who normally couldn't attend a trade show in person, or would feel too overwhelmed to come and have a one-on-one conversation with us, will now get a chance to do that by practicing what we preach and leveraging things in a virtual way.
Well, I agree that we've all been given a chance to hack the NAB show, which does feel good. And I thought it was a great opportunity to do so, because there's no stopping human ingenuity. And what I feel like is going to happen from all of this is that we're all forced to use video communication. Some of us are jumping the bridge to live streaming. Some of us are just doing more Skype calls to stay connected with our friends and family. But everyone's getting more familiar with this video technology. And I think it's going to become more and more common and accepted to kind of break the chain and break the mold and work from home more. If you're a
Yeah.
reporter, you're going to want to have that ability to pump in a live stream when it's necessary, when there is a tornado, when there is something in your local community. And I would love to ask you about how, you're empowering folks to do that and kind of break the mold and be different, entrepreneurial, and not have to go into to work every day. I feel like there's a lot of creators that are going to learn how to
Yeah.
monetize their content, and you're going to feel like, they're cooped up and they're ready to get out of the house and go on the road and share their journey with the world. The LiveU Solo seems like a perfect product for that. What are you seeing out there with people just, changing the way that we think about media and breaking the mold and going out and just streaming to the world?
Yeah. So yeah, I think we all miss that experiential live streaming, being able to go out and experience something and then share it with viewers at home who wouldn't be able to do that. But there are some interesting, fun, unique things that our customers are doing to sort of bridge that gap. One of them is the Mexican Soccer League. They obviously can't compete. They can't keep to their normal schedule. Those athletes still wanted to connect with their fans. So what they did is they transferred it all to an esports competition. So they took the entire soccer competition calendar. They're keeping it. And instead, these athletes who are not professional video gamers by any stretch are actually competing on PlayStation, playing FIFA 20, and then distributing that content, not just on Twitch or those other platforms where you would traditionally think you could watch an esports tournament, but they're actually distributing it on broadcast television. It's even on Telemundo here in the US to watch, so that people at home who would normally have tuned in to watch the sporting event get to watch the esporting event in the luxury of their homes like they used to. So I hope we get back to the idea of being able to take this technology and go out on the road and continue to share it. We've got so many customers now that a lot of the there's a lot of Twitch streamers out there and other content creators on YouTube that's what they did is they shared those experiences with their viewers and their followers. Now they're coming up with more creative ways at home. Maybe it's just some backyard challenges or crafts and DIY and really showcasing their other talents. But at the end of the day, it comes down to just being able to start somewhere and try something new, like the Mexican Soccer League. I actually watched a couple, and it is really funny seeing these amazing professional soccer athletes get frustrated trying to play soccer on a video game. But it's a unique way to connect with the community and to sort of keep sports alive.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I love that esports is, becoming more popular and, really an outlet for so many people, and competitiveness and the engagement's incredible. If you tell me about what it's like to be a reporter right now. And, I know
Yeah.
that you have a program in place that helps reporters send news to news organizations and actually get on television. Can you tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing there?
So there's a couple of ways to answer that question. One is we do have a freelance community. It's been very robust within LiveU for a very long time, and what that is allowing producers, production companies, freelance journalists, and photographers to be LiveU equipped so they can offer their services. So if they're in a local area and a station or network can't get someone there, get their own crew there in time, they can actually get one of these LiveU equipped reporters or journalists or multimedia journalists to cover the story. And then they can transmit that feed back to that station for broadcast, whether it's to report or just as B-roll as part of the production. Now, that comes into play very heavily with things like breaking news stories or like election coverage. You can imagine if you're a Swedish television station, you don't want to have to send a whole crew for the whole election season. You could just send your one reporter and they could team up with a local journalist. The other is, I mean, if you check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, you will see all of these reporters now that used to take our technology and, let's say, as an embed reporter and follow a candidate around the campaign trail. They're now just like me. Their living room has been taken over and they're doing all their reporting from home. And whether that's because they're watching a live feed that's being provided to them so they can write their story and then go on camera and report on it, or they're doing the weather from their home and their own living room. It's quite interesting to see all the different types of setups, all the different use cases, and all the different ways the public internet is being used to transmit the news. Now, in the days of COVID, our freelancers are even more in demand because of that reason, that the networks cannot risk exposure to their crews or teams. And because there's so much happening in so many different places, getting a satellite truck to all of these locations is next to impossible. So by being able to have someone who's right there, who can safely and from a distance report on it, or at least capture the video, is allowing us at home to be able to still get the news.
Well, it's incredible to have a company like LiveU in the mix here today. So important, and I think more and more folks are going to be looking for solutions where they can break the mold, go mobile, and get the message out to the world in a high quality format. Thank you so much, Claudia, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, and you hang in there for the rest of the show.
I already got the hacker hoodie off, so we'll see how much longer I can take. Thanks.
Okay, bye.